Remember the future we were promised? The one with jetpacks and flying cars? Well, one of those things is still just a fantasy. By the 1950s, popular mechanics magazines were buzzing with predictions. They said we'd all be zipping around in flying cars by the year 2000. Imagine no more traffic jams, just open skies and the freedom to fly anywhere. It was a tantalizing vision, but the reality proved far more complicated. While we did get some pretty cool inventions like personal computers and the internet, flying cars remained elusive. It turns out that transforming science fiction into reality is a lot harder than it looks. That's not to say people didn't try. Oh, they definitely tried. The dream of a flying car has been around almost as long as the automobile itself. Visionaries and inventors have always been fascinated by the idea of combining the freedom of the open road with the limitless possibilities of the sky. Early prototypes were often rudimentary, sometimes even laughable by today's standards, but they laid the groundwork for future innovations. One of the earliest and most iconic attempts was the Aerocar. This vehicle captured the imagination of the public and engineers alike. It wasn't just a concept or a drawing on paper, it was a real tangible machine that promised to revolutionize transportation. Developed in the 1940s and 50s, this quirky vehicle actually flew. It wasn't just a car with wings, it was a fully functional aircraft that could take off, fly and land. The Aerocar was a marvel of its time, showcasing the ingenuity and ambition of its creators. It had detachable wings and a propeller. This design allowed it to transform from a car to a plane in a matter of minutes. The wings could be folded and towed behind the car when not in use, making it a versatile vehicle for both road and air travel. You could drive it on the road like a regular car, then detach the wings and take to the skies. This dual functionality was groundbreaking and captured the imagination of many. The idea of driving to the airport, attaching the wings and flying to your destination was a dream come true for many aviation enthusiasts. The Aerocar was a marvel of engineering for its time. It represented a significant leap forward in the quest for a flying car. Engineers and designers poured their hearts and souls into making this dream a reality, overcoming numerous technical challenges along the way. It even received certification from the Civil Aviation Authority, the precursor to the FAA, in 1956. This certification was a testament to the Aerocar's safety and reliability, proving that it was more than just a fanciful idea. It was a legitimate aircraft that met rigorous standards. But despite its ingenuity, the Aerocar never really took off. The public was fascinated, but the vehicle faced numerous challenges. It was ahead of its time, and the infrastructure and market readiness just weren't there. The dream of a flying car remained just that, a dream. It was expensive, complex to operate, and let's face it, a bit odd-looking. The Aerocar's design, while innovative, was not practical for everyday use. It required a skilled pilot to operate, and the cost was prohibitive for most people. Despite these challenges, the Aerocar remains a fascinating chapter in the history of aviation and a testament to human ingenuity and ambition. The Aerocar's struggles highlighted some fundamental challenges with flying cars. These challenges were not just minor inconveniences, but significant technological and safety hurdles that needed to be overcome. First off, the technology was simply not there yet. The engineering required to create a vehicle that could both drive on roads and fly in the sky was incredibly complex. Early engineers faced numerous obstacles, from designing a lightweight yet sturdy frame to developing engines powerful enough to lift the vehicle off the ground. Early flying cars were heavy, underpowered, and difficult to control in the air. The materials available at the time were not advanced enough to create a vehicle that was both light enough to fly and strong enough to be safe. This resulted in prototypes that were often clunky and unreliable. This made them impractical for everyday use. Imagine trying to commute to work in a vehicle that could barely get off the ground and, when it did, was nearly impossible to control. The dream of a flying car was far from the reality of the time. They also had a nasty habit of stalling out, which isn't exactly ideal when you're a few thousand feet in the air. Engine reliability was a significant issue, and a stall in mid-air could be catastrophic. These early flying cars were more of a novelty than a practical mode of transportation. Safety was another major concern. The idea of flying cars was exciting, but the reality was that they were dangerous. Early prototypes lacked the safety features we take for granted in modern vehicles, such as reliable braking systems, seat belts, and airbags. Imagine a sky filled with amateur pilots in their flying machines. The potential for accidents was enormous. Unlike professional pilots, these amateur aviators lacked the training and experience needed to safely navigate the skies. Now imagine those pilots trying to navigate bad weather, engine trouble, or heaven forbid each other. The skies would be chaotic and dangerous, with a high likelihood of mid-air collisions and other accidents. It's a recipe for disaster. The combination of untrained pilots, unreliable technology, and the inherent dangers of flying made early flying cars a risky proposition. The dream of a sky filled with personal flying vehicles was far from the safe and efficient reality that people hoped for. Even today, with all our technological advancements, ensuring the safety of a sky filled with flying vehicles remains a huge challenge. Modern engineers are working tirelessly to overcome these hurdles, but the dream of a safe, reliable flying car is still a work in progress. The future may hold the promise of personal flying vehicles, but for now, the challenges remain significant. Then there's the issue of cost. When we talk about flying cars, the first thing that comes to mind is the sheer expense involved. Developing and building a flying car is not cheap. Neither is maintaining one. The technology required to make a car fly is incredibly advanced and requires significant investment in research and development. The Aerocar, for example, cost around $25,000 in the 1950s. This was a time when the average car cost just a few $1,000s. That's the equivalent of over $250,000 today. Imagine trying to justify that kind of expense for a personal vehicle, not exactly affordable for the average commuter. The high cost of flying cars would likely limit their use to the very wealthy or to specialized industries. Even if the technology improves, it's hard to imagine flying cars ever becoming as affordable as a regular car. The materials and technology involved are just too expensive. And we haven't even talked about regulations yet. The regulatory environment for flying cars is another significant hurdle. Who would be allowed to fly these things? Would it be restricted to licensed pilots, or could anyone with a driver's license take to the skies? Would you need a pilot's license? The training and certification process for pilots is rigorous and time-consuming. What about air traffic control? Managing the skies is already a complex task, and adding thousands of flying cars would make it even more challenging. These are complex questions with no easy answers. The logistics of integrating flying cars into our current transportation system are daunting. Governments have been grappling with these issues for decades, trying to balance innovation with safety and practicality, and the regulatory landscape for flying cars remains murky at best. Until these issues are resolved, the dream of flying cars will remain just that, a dream. Soaring above advancements in drones and VTOL aircraft. While flying cars remained grounded, other air transportation technologies did take off. Drones, for example, have become incredibly sophisticated. They're used for everything from photography and delivery to surveillance and even military operations. Similarly, vertical takeoff and landing, or VTOL aircraft, have made significant strides. These advancements demonstrate that we're getting closer to realizing the dream of personal air transportation. However, drones and VTOL aircraft face many of the same challenges as flying cars, particularly when it comes to safety, regulation, and public acceptance. Despite the challenges, the dream of flying cars is far from dead. In recent years, there's been renewed interest in what's called urban air mobility, or UAM. This concept envisions a future where electric-powered, autonomous air taxis ferry people around congested cities. Companies like Uber, Airbus, and Boeing are all investing heavily in UAM technology. While UAM is still in its early stages, it offers a more realistic vision for the future of personal air transportation. By focusing on electric propulsion, autonomous flight, and a dedicated airspace, UAM aims to address many of the challenges that plagued earlier flying car concepts. Here's a fun fact. Did you know that the Aerocar is the only flying car to have ever received full certification from the CAA? It's true. While it never achieved mainstream success, the Aerocar remains a testament to human ingenuity, and our enduring fascination with the dream of flight. It's a reminder that what seems impossible today could become reality tomorrow. Who knows? Maybe one day we'll all be soaring through the skies in our own personal flying machines. So why haven't flying cars become a reality? It's a complex issue, but it boils down to a few key factors. First, the technological hurdles are significant. Designing a vehicle that can safely and reliably transition from road to air is no easy feat. Then, there are the safety concerns, the regulatory nightmares, and the sheer cost of development and maintenance. And let's not forget about public acceptance. Are people truly ready for a sky filled with flying cars? Until these challenges are addressed, flying cars will likely remain the stuff of science fiction. But hey, we can still dream, right? The dream of flying cars is a powerful one. It speaks to our desire for freedom, for adventure, and for a future where technology solves our problems. While we haven't quite cracked the code yet, the pursuit of personal air transportation continues. Who knows what the future holds? Maybe, just maybe, one day we'll all be looking down on traffic jams from the comfort of our very own flying cars. Until then, keep your eyes on the skies. What do you think? Will we ever see flying cars become a common sight, or are they destined to remain a futuristic fantasy?